Hello, my name is Jordan Thomas. This is Unmasked Athletes, who I'm here to talk to today.
Nahree Biggins.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about your childhood and your upbringing.
Like my upbringing was dope. I'm originally from Roselle, New Jersey, born and raised, and I had moved to Hillside, New Jersey, like what 2 towns over. Currently stay at, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, when did your football career begin? Like in the little leagues, how was that?
Yeah. I feel like I want to say when probably like when I was like 5. Played every level of football growing up, down to flag football all the way up to your 15U and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's been a really long time ago.
Yeah, when did you know that you fell in love with the sport of football?
Oh, I feel like, dang, I want to say I fell in love with playing football around, probably like 11, 10. Because around that time, I want to say it was in the town of Roselle. There was a lot of like around that time what coaches they was doing like a lot of summer stuff, like summer like workouts, not like camps or anything like that, but it was all optional. And I always wanted to go. Like I always was like one of the first dudes there, and I was never like the run around kid afterwards. Like I was always fascinated with like the drills and like, running the ball and just throwing the ball and just like being in the sport more than anything.
Yeah, and then what like did you always become a running back, or is that just like a second nature, where the coaches kind of put you just kind of played?
Yeah, I grew up, I never really had a set position for real. And like, even as it, like, I'm not just a running back, I feel like I'm just a football player. Like, growing up, I always like play quarterback, running back, receiver, safety, linebacker, corner, punter, kicker. Like, I never had like a set position. Like even in high school, like I always, even in little leagues, I always played multiple positions. Doing like the best I could for my team as a youngin.
Yeah, for sure. Like, how was your high school career? Like, how do you think that went?
My high school career was dope. Shout out Coach Barris Grant, Halim, Aline, the whole Hillside Comic crew. Like I was definitely blessed to have them as my college. I said my college, my high school coaches. They were, it was a real great group of men. Like we was my town was Hillside. We was all right. Like my freshman year, we was all right. We wasn't bad, but we was just never like a team that stood out until like my sophomore year through my whole senior year. Like shout out to all them other, all my other teammates. Like we was what 3 times state champions, and we really made like we put like our whole little town on the map. Like we're coming out like the little what the exit like the whole 140 thing. Like people was jacking that. Like they loved it. Like we made something good out of the hillside community and the football upbringing, especially a lot bringing like a lot of dudes to like college and all that good stuff. But definitely shout out to the coaches. Career was dope. I feel like yeah, career was dope. Like I had fun with it. Like it wasn't nothing I could really regret playing multiple positions. I played everything. It's not a position that I in high school that was like, dang, I wish I'd have played it. And I did, like it was fun. Everything was fun, winning, even around all them boys, made some good memories, lifelong friends, everything.
That's awesome. What was like like the high? You know what I mean? Like the state championships, putting your school on a map, your coaches and your teammates and everything, like and embracing. What was the downside about like what was the biggest obstacles that you had to face personally?
Shoot, biggest obstacle? It's a good question. I don't know. I feel like back then everything was easy. Like school for me was never an issue. Like I was always like teachers loved me. You feel me? I was a good role model in the community. I was never big headed or airheaded about it. I was always humble in a way. Like I don't know. It wasn't. High school was fun. Like high school, it was nothing was more fun than high school. I don't know. I didn't really have. Maybe I said like a game, maybe like one of the tough games that I thought we was gonna lose, but we ended up winning.
Yeah. What was that moment where it's like I can go play ball? I can go play college ball.
Uh, Truthfully, once I got my first offer my sophomore year, I got offered by Rutgers right after the season. I got offered. I was on a visit. I got offered by it was Coach Chris Ash at the time. He had brought me in his office. I got offered. It was dope right after the state championship game because we had a state championship game at Rutgers. And that was like a whole big ordeal. Like, it was the first time my school had that since like the 80s. So once we was able to go there, I popped off. I had like 2 touchdowns, 13 tackles, and an interception. Like there was no MVP
Ooh.
trophy or anything like that, but I was, you feel me? It was kind of like they was like, yeah, I was the MVP.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, was that like throughout that whole entire journey? Like, how was your headspace through that? Like, did you know, like, for a fact, like, where you knew you wanted to go based off the visits?
Nah, not necessarily. Like I always thought like my dream school without a doubt was Ohio State. So I had like a couple Big Tens like Rutgers, Maryland, Nebraska or whatever, but they just ain't never come around to it. Like my school, we was dope. Like we had some heavy hitters. Like shout out to Boris niggas, Paul, Brian Ugu, my boy Don Willis, like James Lewis. The list could go on. Like we had heavy hitters, man. Like we was really dope. Like we finished out my senior year, three in the state, like going undefeated. But it was like, bro, we was putting up numbers on people where like I'm not mad at it at all because everything happened for a reason. Like everything is what it is. But like we was the film didn't lie. Like I would literally, it was some games where like I would score first touch and that would be that because New Jersey got mercy rules. Once 35 hit, that clock running. Like,
Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, at the time you couldn't even throw the ball. You can't throw the ball deep. You just had to run up the middle. So it's not like you could put up unless you. If, and it's not like I wasn't the main guy necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like we was loaded. It was dudes everywhere. Like it's crazy.
that's awesome, man. Oh, so when
Man.
you chose to go to your college, like, how did your college career go? Like, looking back at it, like, how do you think it went for you?
I feel like my college career, it looking back at it, it was dope. Obviously, being able to play multiple positions, but in like a real life, I feel like real life world scenario definitely taught me a lot because I didn't initially get what I wanted. Like I came in, I was in a stack receiver room with Khalil Pimpleton. He play at Ottawa right now, CFL guy. Uh, Another dog, Ja'Cory Sullivan, Dallas Dixon at the time, Tyrone Scott. Like I didn't, and I was coming in as a receiver. I'm like, shoot, I wanted to play off the rip, so I tried to switch over and play safety. And still, like, dude, we was nice. We ended up going like, if I'm not wrong, like 9 and no, yeah, I want to say like what 9-4 that year, something like that. It was like 9-4. Like, them dudes was nice. I learned a lot off them dudes, but definitely taught me a lot of patience. You're not gonna get your way. A lot of stuff could be handed to a lot other people, but you can't judge that off of like who you trying to be at the end of the day. Like sometimes you don't know how another man went and got his. Like only thing you know is what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
That's
the
control. What you
truth.
can control is the biggest thing. So, like
Definitely.
looking back, like how was your mental health throughout that journey? Like, did you like what was the fights, the battles that you had to go through?
I'll say like some of the battles I definitely went through. Like I was never depressed, but I used to definitely beat myself up just because I went from being like the 3-time state champion, and I was the man at in high school, and it wasn't like I played at like a bad high school. Like I played with a lot of D1 dudes and versed a lot of D1 dudes, and coming in and like seeing how like the dudes that I was behind and like taking like trying to take that next step because I redshirted and I was like cool with that, but I feel like I got a little too comfortable and I expected like it was just supposed to be handed to me, you know, and I was definitely pointing a lot of fingers, but if I wasn't pointing a finger at myself, like I was kind of settling with the bare minimum.
Yeah, and do you think that affected you at all? Like how you said you like expected and the bare minimum. Like you think that affected how you went about your day with competing for those positions and spots?
Uh, I would maybe for like a short time period, but after a while, I don't know. It was a switch. Like I had a real talk with our strength and conditioning coach. Like I was sitting there crying, dog. Like, cause he's like a New York guy. I'm a New Jersey guy, so we was real tight. But he's a real one. Like he gonna let you know what it is, and like it was one of them exit meetings. Like you had to sit down, like real talk. Like, and I just had to like he brought me like to reality for real because I was blaming everybody else but you feel me myself. Like it wasn't like at the time I wasn't getting like no extra film sessions in. No, I was getting like a little bit of extra work in, but not nothing that was nobody else was doing out in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't making myself different from the outsiders looking in. Like it wasn't nothing that was really separating me from the next man, which I didn't see it that way. I didn't know, but obviously I had to go through it to really understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and how has like your faith throughout that journey? Like how did that help you?
Uh, my faith that made me definitely grow closer to God and definitely you definitely praying and staying true to it. Like on a day to day basis with just being disciplined with the little things. Like because I was definitely I seen it that way. Like if I could get all the little things right, all the little things just gonna turn into the big things, and everything just going. You feel me? Just a whole domino effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you are right. And the reason why I asked that question, because I feel like sometimes when you're in a dark place or you're kind of like battling, I feel like at times you're going through progressions the way you want, not the way that God wants. And sometimes
Yeah.
the things that you're not good at, like for example, I'm not good at with having patience. I'm a very impatient person, and God teaches
Hmm.
you how to be patient. And sometimes you may
Yeah.
not like it, but that's the obstacle in the journey to help benefit you. Do you think throughout your career, like looking back at it, like what's some of the things that, the lessons that football has taught you?
Shoot, definitely patience for one. For one, like, and you just gotta some shit. You gotta be a go getter. Like, like, and shoot, closed mouths don't get fed. Like, you gonna have to really go get yours. Like, and you going at the end of the day, you dictate the terms. You know. Like sitting back, being you feel me, all lax about it, it's not gonna help your situation, nor beating yourself up about it. It's okay to be, you feel me, upset, but at the end of the day, you still can't hold that weight over your shoulders. You just gotta keep you gotta keep uh moving forward for real.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
And that's the battle that we face every single day. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you have an opportunity and chances. Like if you just lay down all day, you can quit. But the fight
Hmm.
is you getting up and continue to do it. And like you kind of like hit it on the head. It's like sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do to get where you want to be. And
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I mean, you're a walking stone of it. Like what I mean, if you look back at your career and everything that you accomplished, and I think you learned a lot because you said you had a lot of dogs in your team. You won state
Hmm.
championships and you went to college. It was a reality check because you
Yeah.
were living so high, but that's that humbling that, God teaches you, like you were the guy in high school. And then when you go to like college, I played college football too. So it's like, I understand like when you go to college, it's like not everybody's just as good as you, just as strong, just
Yeah.
as fast as you. And now the competition is everywhere. And throughout like thinking about that and that thought process, like what are some of the things that you'll tell like younger guys like that's coming into their freshman year going into college? Like what advice you got them to give to them?
Shoot, don't even like I would say like don't waste your time, like and don't ever get comfortable. Like college is almost like outside of the football, it's almost like a trap. Like especially like if your team is really good, like off the winning and going out because partying is obviously always going to be there. Colleges is just like a whole just one big cycle. Like that was like my situation. I was on a really good team my freshman year. We were winning. Like we beat our rivals. We beat a Power Five school in a bowl game. Like everything there was like every weekend was just it was better than the next. Like it just kept getting better and better. But at the same time, it wasn't fitting towards my life goals. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't fitting to what I wanted deep down, like with football and what I wanted out of it. Like, yeah, no, as a freshman, you definitely gotta you gotta come in with a chip on your shoulder, extra film, like really be in the playbook and just real life get tight with that coach. If your coach should hate you, if he should hate you, he should hate you off the fact that you getting too much film time in with him and you not trying to let him leave. Like for real.
Yeah, for sure. That just shows your hard work and dedication. It just you got to
Yeah.
outwork everybody, and sometimes you got to outwork yourself and look in the mirror, man, in the mirror, and hold yourself
Mhm.
accountable. When was that moment where you was like, I knew I kind of wanted to go pro? Like, I think I can go do that.
Uh, I want to say after it was my red shirt my sophomore year because I had a decent sophomore year. Probably because I was playing DB and I had a game winning interception and I had a drop interception at Michigan State. And I had a decent game at Michigan State and probably like on that year, like 16 tackles or whatever. And it was out of me like going in, not even thinking, off of just like playing ball. And I'm like, yeah, like this, I feel comfortable in the right way. Like just because I just had the confidence and the hunger of like, I wanted to prove I could care less about what everybody else thought about me, but I wanted to prove myself right, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And what was that moment like? How was that feeling? Like, towards the end of your career, you're like, you know what? I really got a vision. Like, I can really see it, me going pro.
Definitely. I feel like it definitely like the vision. It made me made well. I feel like I'm very disciplined as a person, but it made me even more like stay true to it, and not try to drift off into other things. I would always say like even with family members and all this other stuff like family members and friends like I'm a plan A guy. I don't even have no plan B. Like I stick to the plan A because if you think about a plan B, then you're not fully committed and fully authentic and fully in. You feel me? Like, uh,
Yeah, for sure. What is your why?
iconic as it say is my family, Mom Dukes, and the person that I like portrayed. Like even like on social media or even like how I try to carry myself. Like that's why I like just to show up every day as like the person I want to be. Like obviously Mom Duke's I want to be able to just like take care of Mom Duke's. Mom Duke's not struggling or nothing like that, but just off everything that she gave me. Feel me? It was it's her more importantly. She was obviously number one supporter, but she made me like the man I am today, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And how, like, I can see the emotions, like how much, like your Ma Dukes has like sacrificed to be, for you to be where you're at right now.
Mom Duke, she sacrificed a good amount, like because she seen that I wasn't like one of the kids who was wasting my time with the sport, like even with like just buying me like the cleats I wanted and driving me to certain areas and places for me to like just keep working out. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely like that definitely it was I already knew like once she was like all in with it, it showed like that just gave me a more reassurance for myself. Like Mom Duke's all in with it. I got no other choice to be all in with it. Like man.
Yeah, for sure. And just her having the confidence in her son is, I bet you that's the brightest thing that you can ever happen to you. Because
Yeah.
it's kind of, I think that's also important because if everybody around you believe in you, I feel like there's nobody else in the world that can judge you or tear you down because all you need is the love and support from the people that you love. If you didn't have football in your life, like what would you be and who would you be?
Without football, that's a nice question, bro. I don't even know. Like back home, I've been so ingrained in the football. Like there's nothing that like I had no other interest in. Like none. If I wasn't playing football, shoot, I'd probably be out to regular old Joe every week. Like I don't even or in the street somewhere, like trying to be somebody, trying to be tough, like trying to be yeah, I don't even try to be some type of gangster or something. Yeah, football definitely gave me a vision that I couldn't like I couldn't pass on that.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. And God has blessed you with a talent and he's been by your side through your whole entire journey and
Yeah,
all glory to God in that moment and
definitely.
it's looking back at your younger self, like what advice would you be able to tell your younger self?
Shoot, my youngest self, the advice I would say like more so definitely younger me wasn't like I was just a kid. Like there was nothing that I never ever got in like serious trouble. You feel me? I never been like kicked out of school or anything like that. I always stayed down. I feel like the younger me was real life, like the dream child of like what a lot of people want out of their child. Like I stayed true to what like my mom would promote for me. Like of course there was some stuff where I tested the waters in terms of like like growing up wise. Like she tell me to do something and tell me not to do something when I did it. But mm-mm. Younger me, I would, if more than anything, if anything, I'd probably say like, stay open to other ideas if that's the case. I'm like, I don't just know only football. Like I've had like a regular job at one point, but like just to say, I would definitely stay more open to other things and like,
Yeah, for sure, man. It's also like kind of tough, when you're so young. It's you can get distracted, but you also can, be tempted by temptation, and that's the biggest
yeah,
thing. And how you kind of like even when I asked you, like, what would you do without football? You said I could be portrayed something that I'm not, like be a gangster, be in the street, like some type
yeah,
of tough guy. But like how you said, if you seen the vision, like God was by your side throughout that. Like
mhm,
you sometimes if you choose one path and one journey, God's going to open the door, but He also going to close one right behind you as well, and that's the
yeah,
path that you choose to take. Like what's going around the world, like as especially as black men, there's a stigma going on about like that we can't be more than athletes. Like, how do you feel about that? Like you think black men can we be more than what we are, like athletic wise, sport wise? Like, what ventures are you going to? Like, what is your degree? And things that you want to be able to explore potentially after football.
yeah, definitely. I feel like definitely. I feel when you look at just shoot all these black men out in the world, like like, even like with like let's say like current day, like with the streaming stuff, just figuring out, just having entertainment at that point. It might sound dumb, but they figuring out how to make money while other people still pointing fingers, feeling like it's dumb. Like you still making a good amount of money that you could really invest it in and flip it into something crazy, and they pissing people off about it. Like. But pardon me, what was your other question you said?
I said, like, what, like, other ventures, like, we can, like, as black men, like, how can we be more than, like, our sport? And also, how can we be able to
Yeah.
carry ourselves as black men as well?
Yeah. Mhm. I feel like everybody, as a black man, I feel like we can't point no more fingers at ourselves for sure. Cause me, it was a lot of that was like a lot of stuff, like my whole college thing, like with me pointing my finger at everybody else. I feel like a lot of black men in America, they go through the same thing. With obviously the justice system and all of that. There's definitely some unfairness that go around, but there's a lot that like you can learn off of it. And there's always like a right and a wrong at the end of the day. You know, like there's always a time and a place, a right and a wrong, and there's always another option, you know, like always another option than doing the wrong thing. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like now I think we're fighting a battle sometimes. I feel like that, I think we fight a battle that is like outside. And I feel like sometimes
Yeah.
we got to be able to fight the battle that's inside. Like, how can we be able to help our youth out? And how can we be able to take care of our youth and like, more importantly, I feel like the black community, we got to make sure we hold each other accountable. We got to be able to
Yeah.
tell our friends no, not to do that. Because I feel like whenever we're divided, I feel like that's when people can attack us the most. That's when we can get criticized the most. And I feel like if we're able
Mhm.
to hold each other as black men accountable, I feel like we can be, holding the youth accountable, and then we can lead by example. I know there's a lot of things going on in the news about mental health. Like, what do you like? How do you feel about athletes suffering from mental health and not getting help? Why do you think that is? From your college experience?
I feel like a lot of people is afraid to, speak on how they really feel, like that was one of the things that I had trouble with, that I didn't really know how to like express myself. But I had like a really good group of friends. My shout out Trey Jones and Kenny Brewer. Like those is dudes. I feel like they really turned like my whole college career around just from seeing how hard they was working. But I was able to like really like talk to them. And that's another thing too. Like your friends, if you ain't able to like really express how you feel genuinely about like what's going on in your life, and you don't want to be where you don't want to be at, and where you currently at, then they not your friends, bro. And like Trey and Kenny, they understood where I was coming from. You feel me? They was there at one point, and they really felt for me, and they was like there. Like those like big brothers for me at the time, like where I was able to they whatever I needed, they did it for me. They helped me out. They was always there, never missed a phone call, you know what I mean? Like they definitely helped me out through that whole like process. So it's everybody's given a voice. Even if you can't speak, you could somehow write, type, whatever, any way of communication. You gotta be able to use it though and express it the right way. You feel me? That's gonna have people so you could build that trust with somebody. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure. Did that, the way they treated you, the way they were there, did that ever impact the way you looked at other people trying to come into your life and, try to be friends with you or in a relationship, intimately or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like, because they stayed true to it, like we had our fun in college or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, what needed to be done, football wise, school wise, that was like number one priority. All the other stuff could happen whenever we got the true downtime for it. And they definitely we kept one another like true to it and like head steady.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what is the best way somebody can support you? Like, how can somebody best support you?
Shoot. Right now, I'm in that phase of like I feel like I don't really need much. I just obviously I could talk all day, but really that simple conversations like the regular how you doing every day, all stuff like that. Like I call my mama almost every day, like just whenever I feel like I just need to talk to her. Like just being able to reach out, like communication, like conversations, even if it's just little things, like was the most dangerous thing like for anybody is keeping everything bottled up in your head, you know? And it's real.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like you be able to, like, reach out to mob dudes, reach out to your friends and family, because that always gives you a
Mhm.
reminder that how you said things get bottled up there. It's like, you reach out to them, you realize you're not alone. It's a very lonely world. It's kind of hard because sometimes you feel alone while there's people around you. And that's the most terrible
Yeah.
feeling that you could have. Like, what is the message that you want to be able to send to the youth that'll be watching this?
Shoot, every day you get an opportunity, you know? Every day you like real life, like every day you get to wake up and you got one choice. You either wake up and you can lay in that bed and do nothing, or you can walk outside that door and find anything, whether it's you taking a walk in the park, you going to the field, you reading a book. There's always some type of way of like you being more active and being, like trying to find knowledge. Like, cause you would never know. Like me, I was so football focused just off of like division. I ain't really like wander off into anything. Like anything else. Only thing I say is probably like fishing. Like I love fishing now just because it was something I tried and I'm like, dang, I really like fishing. Like for the youth, I definitely like stay open, like get active, like definitely like stay true to like school part of things. Like school is always going to be the number one most important thing. Like the football is going to have its expiration date, whether it's youth, high school, college, even being the pros. Like, but with you having that college degree, that high school degree, whatever the case may be, that's going to be able to help you out no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. And I think education, that's how you lead with your life. Not everybody like going to class, especially athletes.
Yeah,
You got 6 a.m. morning, 5:30, you got to be there. I'd be tired,
man.
but like I feel like education is power, knowledge is power, and that's how you win. Some people in life
Yeah,
they play checkers. You got to play chess in this world. That's how you win.
yeah.
Like for the people that don't know who you are, like kind of describe yourself as a person.
Like I'm as of right now, and well, shoot for a while. I'm definitely a funny guy. Once you get to know me, I might be a little standoffish at first, cause I don't trust everybody. Not in the world we live in. So a lot of
Yeah,
people unpredictable, but once you get to know me, I'm a real cool guy. Like down to earth. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing I'm not bigger than the next person next to me at all. I'm not too stubborn to have a conversation or anything like that. Like, uh,
that's awesome, man. Like, what are some of your hobbies like that you like to do outside of football to kind of bring you peace? I know you mentioned fishing earlier.
yeah, no, fishing for sure. Fishing and just being outside in nature. Like, like back up at school it's a good area, like with amount of parks and like little like wooded areas where you could just, get outside and just take a walk and like really clear your mind. For me, it's like that's like the biggest relief like ever. Just like taking a walk and you just hearing the birds chirping, the frogs jumping on the lily pads, and the fish swimming in the water. Sometimes, obviously, you see people see deers, the rabbits. Like nature holds so much just because it's so natural. Like I feel like a lot of people they don't really get to see it. That it's like so natural that it brings out something. I don't know what it do, but it bring out something nice that make me feel like dang, like this is like dope.
Yeah, and as we're kind of like ending, like how has God, blessed you in your life? Like, what's something that you're the most grateful for that God is able, like has blessed you with?
Shoot, God been blessing me every day. Like some days be tough, some other days be, an adventure. But I'm blessed to wake up every day. Like I got a few homies that they didn't even make it to the age of 21, and and it was very unfortunate. But I'm glad to wake up every day and be in the position that I'm in. Like I know for sure it could be it's a lot of people who's in way worse situations, and it could be a lot worse. Like I'm just grateful for that every day I'm able to wake up, talk to my mom, my loved ones, and the family, friends. Like that's the most thing I'm grateful for God giving me. For sure.
No, that is a blessing. That is amazing. Your last question, like, what is a message you want to be able to send out to your family, your loved ones?
Shoot. Family, obviously, I love the family. The family know how much love I got for them. Like, I'm just glad I'm able to, still make them proud and still be able to, give them something to watch every weekend or, listen for every weekend. I ain't playing currently, but it's still, that's just something in the chapter. Like, I'm definitely, I'm glad I'm able to make the family proud of me, like, and not letting them down in no way or fashion. Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome, man. Again, it's been a blessing to have you on the podcast, man. You're a true inspiration to a lot of people. Thank you for being vulnerable. Those
Yeah,
lessons and things that you said is valuable, because those things hold weight. And no matter what, I'll give you my number after the podcast, stuff like that. If you ever
yeah,
need anything, any keep but man, continue to be you. Keep leading, be a man by faith. Lead by example with your faith and lead with your faith. And the sky's the limit. Like you
yeah.
said, you
Likewise.
made it so yeah, and you made it so far in life, and don't look back now. So you gotta keep looking ahead, man. So, but thank you, everybody. This is Unmasked Athletes podcast. I just want to say big shout out to St. Augustine Prep. Those are the guys
Yeah,
that
really.
sponsor the podcast today. They help out a lot of Black community student athletes that are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They give them opportunity to be able to shine and give them opportunity even for education. So I just want to say a big shout out to that. But thank you guys so much.